Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again. I'm Renee and a brand new knitter for the last few months. I don't know how many months, but brand new. Thanks for joining me again if you've been here before, and thanks for clicking on my video if you're here for the first time. I'm going to try to remember where I left off because I've got a few things, progress and a new project to talk about since I last recorded. That's why I'm back so soon. It's not been 2 weeks. But in that last video, I talked about finishing that first thing that I had cast on, which was a scarf. I'm right now keeping up with Ravelry, so that project is in my Ravelry. I'm ReneePgh, Renee Pittsburgh, on Ravelry, and I'll put that in the notes so that you can look it up. I am still working on the, what's it called? I have my iPad here. Is it Open Trails Vest? Open Trails Vest Worsted by Ashley Lillis. We'll talk about that. I've got a couple acquisitions that I wasn't planning on. We'll also talk about why they were unplanned. So yeah, let's get into it. All right. This is where I'm at with my very first garment project. These are ends that are not, what are they called? Weaved in. I've got a couple stitch markers where I found holes, so those are still there. They've been there since I have showed this to you. The things that I've done since I think I last showed this is that I seamed them together, although I might have shown that. I've created a collar. You know, this was rough. This was rough. What I learned about creating collars, armholes, cuffs, whatever, is that when it says picking up stitches, P-U-K, it actually means creating a stitch. I actually thought that when we were going to pick up a stitch, like we were going to like dig down and pick up stitches, that didn't make any sense to me. But no, it's that you dig into the bind off edge and you take the edge of the yarn, since you've cut your yarn, and you start threading it through so many stitches in your bind off. Since I didn't know about that process, any bind off I've ever done is on like swatches and stuff, and I didn't keep it loose, so it was the most difficult, tedious thing to do was to try to dig into those bind off stitches. So, and that's true of my armhole, which I'll talk about that. So I've been using a crochet hook. I saw this in a tip on a video, and that's worked for me. So I pick up a few stitches, or I create a few stitches with the yarn, and I put them on the needle. The other thing that I didn't know is that you may need shorter needles than what you're knitting with, and not the cable, which is what I thought, the actual needle. So this is where the acquisition came in. I was so frustrated. After I'd picked up all those stitches, picked up all the yarn, and then I realized I can't move the needles. This is too small a space. And no matter, so a couple things. Did I go out and buy shorties? I think I did. I think for this, because I was on a roll, I went out to Joann's and used a coupon, thank goodness, like a 50% off coupon, and bought the 7-inch shorties, which I don't have up here, but, and it's a short cable. And I just used the 7-inch. I think the needle size here is an 8-inch or something. I don't remember now, but it was a little smaller. And that's how I got by. But then I realized that that had a fixed cable, and that for these armholes, because these armholes are longer, I would need shorties with a longer cable, and it was just going to be probably a good idea for me to get a set of interchangeable shorties. Oh, yeah. I have like a little stash of funds set aside for this new hobby of mine for a while. And so that's why I thought, well, I'll get these now, because this is just going to keep happening. So please let me know what any of you are doing. I mean, I know you can use magic loop, which I will not, because that's a failed technique for me for now. And I guess you can use DPNs, but I'm not proficient enough in DPNs. So this is what the shorty set looks like that I bought. And it's got sizes 4 through 8 US. And it's got the 3-inch shorty. I think this is right. And it's got the same size in the 2-inch shorty. And it came with some cables. And I'm using one right now, which is longer. And you can also use the red Chiagu cables that I already have. So, oh my gosh, that was, so I had to set this aside for a while until I figured things out. I did get these in so that I knew I could go back to the armhole. But I've done this armhole twice now and had to pull out the yarn, picking up the stitches. So same thing is true. I have to create this ribbing in this armhole. And because these decreased stitches are so chunky and not well defined in some places, it's so hard, and once again, to pick up the yarn between the stitches because of what I just said. But I did it twice, but I was not understanding the pattern. The pattern says pick up 3 stitches for every 4 rows. And I thought that meant pick up 3, skip 4 rows, pick up 3, skip 4 rows. What it really means, when I watched her, the designer, on a video, is pick up 3 stitches, skip the 4th, pick up 3 stitches, skip the 4th. So that's why I now have to go back and do it a 3rd time. I just didn't have it in me to do it again when I did it wrong for the 2nd time this morning. Yeah. So I'm going to try this on just to show you what it looks like at the moment, unblocked. Okay, I'm back. All right, so imagine some ribbing here, some ribbing to fill this out. This is made from Lion's brand Wool Ease. So it's like 50% acrylic, 40% wool or something like that. I don't have the band with me right now, but a lot of acrylic in here, maybe 40% wool. These are my hip bones. This is like my waist. I kind of want this ribbing tighter, but oh well. Yeah. Let's see. I think it's fitting pretty good. Luckily, by the look of the draw, you never know with patterns. I like that it's fitted in a way. And I just hope it stays like this. It can get a little bit looser. I don't want this to be any looser. I like a nice tighter collar. So I am happy with this. Yeah, so that's that for now. I'll switch out of it because it's hot. Okay, it's not that that thing is hot, it's just that it's warm out today. I don't have the fan on right now, and I'm upstairs, which is a little bit warmer. So that, yeah, it'll be done by the next video. I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? Unless I don't know. So that's that. I am starting to keep swatches on my bulletin board, and I really like that. It's really fun. The reason I'm mentioning swatches is that when I talked about the Purl Soho yarn that I got the last time, I have now made swatches. Ugh. This is the Plain Air Red Birch. Is that the color? Oh, so pretty. No reason for that stripe in the middle. I just messed up. Really light. I am feeling prickly on my chest and my neck with this Plain Air. I don't remember the, it's wool and cotton, maybe. I'll put the content of this Plain Air fabric. So I kept 2 skeins and I returned 2. I'm gonna make probably a hat because I don't feel prickly when I put it on my forehead. This is washed. So I love the color and I wanna make a hat out of it and maybe put another color in there that I have an idea about. And I swatched it out with some other yarns, which I'll talk about, more cotton-based, which I'll talk about when I get them in. Purl Soho is very nice about that. And then this is the Santolina. Did I bring up the, oh yeah, the Santolina. Oh, light as air, beautiful stitch definition. I think I got gauge with both of these. The Santolina is 70% cotton, 20% rayon from bamboo, and 10% hemp. And it's a dream. Here it is caked up. Look how big. That's 1 skein. It's light as air. It's like a marshmallow. 1 skein has, this is called Teal Tide. And 1 skein, I got gauge using 3 US needles. And is that right? Can't read my own writing. 328 yards. Yeah, US size 2 or 3 needles, 328 yards. Yeah. I'm really excited to make a summer t-shirt. So, where did I get these? Where did I order these from? If I remember, I will let you know. The Chiagu shorties, summer t-shirts. So all of that leads me to the summer t-shirts that I talked about in my last episode, which was either the Purl Soho circular yoke or the Andrea, let's see, the Andrea Gowan Sunshine Tee. I've started putting them in a folder. I went with the Purl Soho circular yoke pullover, and I'm doing the, I think I'm doing the second size. I cast on for the second size. It's got positive ease. I don't know if I can find it in time. 4 inches of ease. So that's why I'm doing the second size, because I don't really need 4 inches of positive ease. I'm doing the ribbed edge neckline, and I thought I would, instead of jumping into the Santolina, I thought I would use a practice yarn, a budget yarn. I might have talked about this in the last one, but I bought, this is a new skein that I haven't joined in yet. I bought this from Joann Fabrics. Isn't that a pretty color? It's like a muted green. And it's called Knit and Crochet KC Essential. 100% cotton, 180 yards. This is using a US 5 20 stitches, so it's a different gauge. I am using 5, and I don't remember what I did in order to get the gauge. I think the gauge here is 23 inches, and yeah, US 5 is what you knit it on. And let me see what I'm knitting it with. I used size 7 needles. The gauge was all right because I did not have shorty needles except for my size 1 socks. I didn't realize one needed shorty needles for collars and sleeves. So I'm doing the entire shirt in size 7 as a result. Yeah, so I didn't have the shorties at the time. This is when I was discovering the whole world of shorties. So let me hold this on with the needles. This is where I'm at so far. Can you see that? It's curling a little. Let me see if I can get it to uncurl. Yeah. So it makes a pattern. Let me just let it go. This is the front-ish, and it makes a pattern just by doing the increases. It's really cool. I don't really know how that works. I don't really understand it. Do you see this little blip? It's right in the front. Ugh. But it's there. I'll worry about it later, and I will ask all of you about how to fix it later. Because, I mean, I don't think blocking is gonna, it's just some kind of weird, I don't know, extra big stitch there. But yeah, I haven't tried this on. I'm gonna wait until it gets a little bit bigger and try it on. But I love what's happening. This is definitely gonna be heavier than the Santolina, but I like what's happening right now. And it's like $4, I didn't say, it's like $4 a skein or something like that. Very inexpensive. It was on sale. So yeah, I like it. I like what's happening. We'll see. I'm going to try it on pretty soon. And I got, speaking of trying things on, anyway, so far, this has been a good beginner pattern for me because I'm like doing a design without going too crazy. You create the extra stitch by KFB, knit in the front and back, which was a new I think, a new stitch for me. Oh, let me talk about the short rows in a second. I got this cording to these tubes to put on things so I can try them on. So I can now try them on. Short rows. So I decided, because I'm going to go all in, that I was going to do the version of this pattern, the Purl Soho pattern, with short rows. I went in and I tried it in the back, and I did them, but then I wasn't understanding the turn part, and I really wasn't understanding what I was building. But I did it, but then halfway through, because I wasn't getting the whole turn part, I wasn't understanding that, like, you keep on doing the entire round. And so yeah, I mean, beginner mistakes. And so I decided also that I was going to then try German short rows after I had done regular short rows. And I think I finally understood the German short rows, but yeah, there's a mishmash of things in the back. I don't know if any of you can read that, but that's what we got going on. I can't even tell you actually where the short rows are, but they're somewhere. And the thing is together, and it doesn't have gaping holes in it. That's all. I'm moving on, you know? I'm moving on. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, so far, you know, this cotton's fine. It's not the lightest weight. We'll see how much I use. I'm almost through one ball, and I've gone this far with one ball, practically. Yeah, I'm happy to do this with the practice yarn. And then when I get done, I will decide which one. I feel like I want to try the Sunshine Tea from Andrea Gowan for this one. And I may or may not do the short rows. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I like crew necks that are like right there. So I don't know. We'll see. But this'll be what I use. Okay, I bought the barber cord or knit extension cords, as they call them, from this place called Twice Sheared Sheep. And I don't know what they are. They're a place that sells yarn, and they sell accessories, and they sell kits. They have an advent, a yarn advent. So it's a really cool company. I'm gonna look them up as we're speaking, because they don't have a physical store, and they don't say where they are necessarily, but it says Twice Sheared Sheep was born as a way to bring a little more joy to a craft that we both love. It was a grand mission to put a smile on every knitter's face. And that's where I found these. I'm on their mailing list, and I saw the advent, which I'm not interested in at this point. And in their website, while I wanted to make the free shipping, and one of the things I found was this, not a kit, but it was a bag. You see, I can see what they call it, of their yarn, because I have also ordered, I can't remember what kind of yarn it is now, but I'm sampling yarn because I know with the plein air I'm going to have trouble with prickly wool. And so I want to, yeah, it's sold out now. It was called Everyday Merino Sampler Pack, $25. So these are, I don't remember, 25 grams each or something like that. They sell this Everyday Merino Superwashed Merino yarn, worsted weight. They sell it for $18 a skein, and I'll find out how much yardage is in the skein. And it comes in all these beautiful colors. Cream, this muted pink that I really like, the mustard, and the chocolate brown. Ooh, a muted grayish blue, and a really pretty turquoisey blue. It looks darker than what it really is. This purple, which I don't really like. I don't like purple generally. A burgundy, and then a hunter green. And this like fuchsia burgundy with the cream. Oh, I love this. It's looking more yellow on that camera. So all of these, I don't know what I'm gonna do. they are how many, 20 yards each, 200 yards total, 4 ply, worsted weight, recommended gauge, 16 to 20 stitches in 4 inches using US size 8 or 9, 10 center pull mini bobbins of yarn. Perfect for hats, mittens, sweaters, so on. So yeah, it would be really fun to weave these into a hat, you know, just have like use Barocco vintage or something that I've already used, a superwash yarn, but then to try some striping with these colors. Yeah. So I'm going to knit up a swatch, but it's going to be a swatch that I can pull out just to test my gauge. And I'll probably use the purple since it's the one I would least likely use anyway. And just have some fun with these. And most importantly, I don't feel any prickliness. Yeah. It says all the benefits of superwash without the slippery superwash feel. And going back to, just to let you know how much a skein is, not how much it is, how much yardage it is. Everyday Merino, $18, and I will let you know how much it cost. I thought that was a very good use of $25. $18 for lots of colors, by the way. I mean, I guess, yeah, as many as is in here, probably. It says, this was our very first yarn. I wanted to create a workhorse. 185 yards, $18, made in Peru. So, yeah, not bargain, but maybe it goes on sale. And I will look out for that for sure. This will be, at least I know, you know, it doesn't seem like Barocco bothers me. Just wanted to let you know about twice sheared sheep. Okay, I think that's about all I have, except I did want to talk about some project ideas I have for sweaters. Oh, I'm still going on the sock, by the way. That'll probably be something I take with me on the trip that this couple days that we're going away. I'll probably take that just because it's much easier to take than this for sure at this point. But let me look on Ravelry at the queue, which is where I put things that I've saved that I am interested in. Lots of different hat ideas I have saved because I really want to try some different hats. Lots of t-shirts. I think I mentioned in the last video the color tip tee by Emily Curtis. She did that with Purl Soho linen quill. I love that. That has my name written all over it. It's very 70s, cute, childish type tee. Maybe I'll make that I think she's making a long sleeve version. That's right, she is. She's making a long sleeve version. So I think the only sweater I have saved, I might be wrong, I'll have to look in favorites, is the Lento by Joann. I will put up a picture. Many of you may know the Lento. Apparently it was very popular. It's knit in Labiana May, Merino, and lace. I would like to do mine in just like a single yarn. And so I'm looking at different versions of it in Ravelry. I'm not at a point where I want to hold the yarn with something, and I really don't think I'm going to tolerate mohair. So I think that's all. I mean, I love the petite knit patterns, so I would love your recommendations for if you have sensitive skin. I would love your recommendations for wool, and or, you know, if you have found a combination yarn, wool and something else or whatever. And then I would love your recommendations for a beginner sweater pattern. That's what I would really, really recommend. And then before I go, since this is a pretty short one, I wanted to share some knitting YouTubers that I am watching. Two Pearls in a Pod are the two Australian doctors who are knitters that I adore. I absolutely adore Sarah and Paige. Barnaby Knits, Emma at Barnaby Knits is in the Baltimore area, and she also spins and dyes yarn, and that's really fascinating to me. Brooke Willow is, I'll list all of these in the notes. Brooke Willow is someone who also spins and she dyes yarn, and I love her aesthetic and her creativity and all of it. High Fiber is probably a popular one. High Fiber Knits, I don't remember her name, but she just did a video on Knit City Toronto that was really fun. Hip Knit Hooray, I don't know her name, but I really love her content. She just did a tanks and tops that I knit and don't wear and reflecting on disappointing summer knits. I love that. I'm gonna watch that every time, you know? Katie Cho is, I think, a smaller channel, but she, and she goes, her channel is actually called Cho Kwan D's Knits, and she's so creative. She's like making up her own designs, and it's fantastic. So those are just a few of the ones that I'm watching now, just a few, because I watch a ton, and you know how it is, like when you get into, for me, Bookstagram or BookTube was, you know, just all over the place watching all these booktubers, and then I get a set number that I'm watching, and then I am always open to discovering new channels and broadening my scope. So it's been really fun. So those are just a few of the ones that I've discovered, believe me. Anyhow, thanks for joining me. And I just wanted to update you before I forgot everything that I've encountered and learned and done and ripped out and all of that stuff as I go forward. So thank you for joining me. I hope you're having a wonderful start of summer if you're in the area that I'm in, this part of the planet, and I'll see you on the next one.